Oh my.
Rolling.
The Plein Air Easton Podcast is brought to you by the Avalon Foundation, enriching the lives of those on the eastern shore of Maryland through the arts. Visit avalonfoundation.org for details on events, performances, and educational programming offered throughout the year. Enjoy the show.
How's it?
Today's episode is sponsored by JFM Enterprises, providing distinctive ready-made and custom frames and moldings to the trade since 1974. Visit jfm.net to view their catalog of designs.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Saturday edition of Half Decaf and a Shot of Cane, formerly known as Coffee and Conversations. We're with David Diaz. Dave, where are you from and what do you think about this year's event?
I'm from Annapolis, and I was wondering how it was going to go. I've not gone to a virtual one before, so this was perfect. I mean, they had planned it out perfectly. They had specific events and how many people could be there, and it just became actually relaxed. And so it was a very easy, and we did all the paintings we always did, but it was a very calm approach.
David, I wanted to ask you specifically, this should be a great story. You were at a plein air event at the beginning of the pandemic, and you want to tell people about that? What happened there?
Okay, well, it was actually 10 of us, 10 people, 10 artists decided to just take a trip to Patagonia and paint on our own, just wherever we wanted. But we had specific places to go, and we took off. It was in March, but nothing was really going on that was serious yet. So we just flew into we flew in halfway down actually, and then we got rented a car, and then we found out that we had to be quarantined for 2 weeks. Once we got there, we found out this is in full tilt here, and they are very serious in Argentina. You don't go out, you don't do this, but we had a place called, the town we ended up near was El Capitan, and we had a small hotel right at the edge of their Glacial National Park, and it was within those gates, so we couldn't go out the gates, but we were allowed to roam free, so we were actually able to go up into the hills and walk around near the park and paint.
Is this a populated area? There are a lot of people?
Not at all. I mean, it's populated in the, they say in the summer, because it's just crowds going by that little hotel, but now it was more desolate because they closed the parks down, so you couldn't go into the actual park, but they allowed us to have like free roam, so we couldn't go anywhere else except there for 2 weeks. And,
right, okay.
And they closed the airport down where we were trying to leave from, so we couldn't get home that way, so there was the lady who sort of set it up. She was on the phone a lot trying to get booking and airlines. We probably bought tickets about 8 or 10 times and had them canceled.
You were trying to get out?
We were trying to get out. At the end of 2 weeks, we were trying to get out. And so, because that's when we were flying out. We were technically supposed to leave anyway. So as it turns out, though, in order to get out, you needed a lot of things. You needed a health document, which we were able to get, and we needed a passage through different counties because there would be roadblocks.
And how many people were there again?
There were 10.
All traveling, trying to get out together at the same time?
Yes, and they knew there were 10 of us coming to this one. There was another tiny airport about 8 hours away by car, and we would be the last one out of that one. So we got up at 4 a.m. and drove through the night, or the early morning, but stopped. They checked the cars, checked our documents. It's like being in an old World War II movie where you're trying to get out.
Go through the checkpoint?
Yeah, but then we got to there and we flew there another 9 hours to Buenos Aires. And as soon as we got there, we were driven immediately to a hotel in town center. Nothing on the streets, nothing, except some armed police. They were very serious in Buenos Aires. You didn't go out. We got to the hotel, they checked our documents again. They had guards at the hotel.
And they're checking your temperature? And
Oh, they
everything?
checked, yes, before you got on. And the thing about leaving the little outpost airport, they closed as soon as we left, but they checked they were checking our temperature, and we knew if one of us had a raised temperature, we would all have to stay.
Right.
So it was kind of a little nervous time. But I mean, the painting was great there. It was just because we had to stay an extra week then in the hotel while they were trying to set up a
How long
flight.
did it take you? So how long was it time to get out?
Well, when we got to the airport, Buenos Aires, it was another 5 days.
5 days?
They kept putting it off. They kept saying, no, tomorrow will work. Then 2 days from now, then tomorrow. We're thinking, is there really a plane there? But yes, they were waiting for a few other Americans from...
Was it scary?
It was a little disturbing because you weren't sure if you were going out. And they actually said, this is the last plane. And if you all don't get out now, you might be here till September. And we're thinking, no, that's not the answer. And the airport was absolutely no one in it. You're in an international airport with just the people getting on the plane. As it turns out, they had brought other planes in after we left, but it was I don't know if you remember, the old Eastern Airline.
Yeah, Eastern Airline.
I think they're still using the old Eastern Airline planes, but that's what we flew out in, yes. Another 10-hour flight.
Right. Sometimes they're the safest. Sometimes the old guys are the safest. Have you followed what's been going on in that area since you left, in terms of
I have, because
their infections, that sort of thing?
Not so much, but in parts of Argentina, they did have some issues in the cities, but even that was milder because they completely shut down.
Was that right?
Yeah, and down where we were, where there were so many, it was very open spaces.
David, how long have you been painting?
Full-time, 15 years.
Uh-huh.
I taught art before that.
Where did you teach art?
In Arundel County.
What made you make the jump from, say, leaving your teaching career to going full time with were you just selling so much that you were like, this is going to work?
No, it was that I taught, but I actually had just a degree in painting and drawing.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, I should do this before I accidentally die.
right. Yeah. Do you have a studio in Annapolis?
I have it in I converted my summer porch into a studio by putting in some heaters in the ceiling and actually that's pretty much it. I just needed that because it's all glass.
How do you describe yourself as a painter?
A contemporary realist or an impressionist. I think it's in that range, I would say, yeah.
Why do you do it, David?
I really love to do it. Basically, I really love, because everything's a new thing. You're standing in something new every time. Everything you face is searching out, like finding that couple little buildings that were just sitting along the water and thinking, I really like that, but can I make a painting out of it?
Uh-huh.
Can I interpret it the way I want to interpret it? So I think that's it. Can I interpret it the way I think it should look?
Yes. How do you capture the mood in those? Because we're going to get to the greenery here in a second, but your exteriors really have a nice mood to them. I don't know if it's.
Thank you. First, no, I kind of go for that. I don't want to. I've been trying to move past just depicting exactness.
Okay.
Because I used to actually paint very exacting, and 15 years ago, and I wanted to get a feel of the building and its setting, and soften things with the atmosphere in it. And
you're very atmospheric. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, and I chose the building because of the feel of it. I love the old buildings.
Is that real? It looks like from here. It looks like a crooked hat. Is the roof really that crooked?
It sinks in. Yeah, it sinks in the middle. I may have pushed it a little because I looked at it and thought this thing might not be here another year. I painted it the last time I was here too.
Is that right?
And I love the old structures of the horizontals and the verticals, and then there's a bit of color left.
It's also got a little island feel to it.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It does. If I had put a little tiki hut out back, it would have.
Right. How do you name a painting?
Sometimes I'm cryptic, but this one I just called Russian. I mean, I called it like it is.
Right.
Sky's Broom. I was going for scarlet something. What can I? Don't waste more time on that. That's
Right.
But sometimes strangely, it's some people say I love your title, and that's what helps sell it.
Yeah, title, sure, yeah.
Yeah, because the two that sold already had different kinds of titles that were.
Has the pandemic changed anything, your approach at all? Do you see a difference in your painting, maybe even from naming it to actually putting paint on the canvas?
I don't know if it did. It maybe made me more introspective because especially when I started and everything was locked down, they're kind of there. You're not supposed to leave home much.
Right.
So you started looking at things a little closer around that could be something that you've looked at for a while, and then you all of a sudden think.
I'm actually surprised there are no squirrel or bird paintings here.
And there were enough squirrels. Actually, right there where the little girl was sitting in the background, she is sitting with a pole she's at, is the bird feeder outside my kitchen door. Yes. And so they were only not there because I was there.
Right,
They're there every other minute, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that a bonus when a person walks into something that you're doing?
Yeah, I like to put people in. Yeah, I really do.
It gives the painting another whole sort of theme.
And some people, there's a couple sides of that, and it was about that plant in front.
Right. Sure.
But when you put a person in it, it then becomes something else. Then it's about the person. It's about why are they there, who are they, what are they doing? Because so you got to be careful. I think about if I'd have put a person in here. It'd have been, or here, there was a person I was tempted to, and they were carrying a bushel of crab going in, and I'm thinking, then it's about them.
Right.
What are they doing? Who are they? I put them on a street sometimes because it's in the city, and otherwise it looks like it was some sort of
a pandemic.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. But so it's a cautionary thing. Some people don't because they want it to be about the thing. If there were people in here standing,
I love your work. I'm so glad to have gotten to talk to you about this. Like I said, we don't get to see all the artists.
Right.
And this year in particular was a little bit tougher because there weren't as many gathering events where we go out, to certain areas to see. So I love your work. I'm really glad we got to show this off to people. Do you have anything why do you think it's important to pursue art, buy art? What does it do for you, and what have you seen it do for customers who bought paintings from you, and just in general? Customers
tend to buy things that draw them in, that make them feel good. That when they know that the one I sold or the bicycle that used to hang on the back wall.
Yeah, I saw that. That was nice too. Yeah.
And the lady, I met her, and she was coming through, and she said, "Oh, that's you." I said, "Yeah." I told her where it was, and she goes, "That's the same alley I walk through every day, and I love that spot. I love going through these alleys." And I said, "So sometimes it's a tie-in, emotional tie-in like that, and they just want to have it as part of their life, and it just kind of softens their life. It makes it easier sometimes." One lady who bought a piece, she said it was in her kitchen. And I said, well, it wasn't a kitchen type of painting, but that's okay. You have to ask yourself, what is a kitchen type of painting? But she put it there so that she said, every morning I get up, I look at it, and I kind of feel inspired by the whole image. I love that about paintings, too, I gotta say. I mean, Kurt said it yesterday. He was like, it will never let you down. If you love it, you're gonna love it forever. And it's right.
So, and I'm sure that you've done that for many, many people who love your work. The thing about it is, when they tell you that's very meaningful. It's not just a casual remark. It's something that's kind of personal then.
The Plein Air Easton Podcast is brought to you by the Avalon Foundation and was produced by Nick Richards. The theme music and additional music used in today's episode was generously provided by Blue Dot Sessions. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. You can learn more about Plein Air Easton at pleinaireaston.com.
What was that?